Okay, so now it's time to go into the geometry and start to build out the actual physical holes that are going to go into the ceiling for the light fixtures. Alright, so first things first, we can't actually build anything if this thing is frozen, so let's just go ahead and hit unfreeze all. Okay, so let's get to work here. I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to start this back area over here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some edge connections to do this. First of all, I do want to mention one thing. It might be tempting to look at this and say, well, why don't I just use the Pro Boolean tool and just start popping holes in this thing like crazy using Pro Booleans with the click of a button and make my life easier. Well, the problem with that is, as we've seen previously, Pro Boolean works pretty good, but only sometimes. For something more complex like this that's going to require popping a lot of holes into the geometry, Pro Boolean is actually going to end up working against us. We're going to get some mixed results, pretty buggy results, and we're just going to end up with a lot of problems. It's not going to work well. We're going to end up having more trouble than what it's worth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the tried and proven way of just manually creating my holes using smart, fast techniques to build the geometry myself. Okay, so I'm going to do that by hand, and you're going to see that it doesn't take that long, and it's not very hard at all. It's actually pretty easy once you know some good techniques. So how can we build some holes here for these little circles, these little placeholders that we created? Well, there's lots of ways that you can do it, but I'm going to show you one technique that I'm going to use that's going to go pretty quick and easy. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. First thing is, I don't like this edge that's right here. So you can see that edge right there is going to mess me up. So I want to get rid of it. I can't just get rid of it though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Vertex Mode. I'm going to go to Target Weld, and I'm going to target weld that vertex to the end over there. That way I end up with one nice clean edge that goes from end to end over here. Okay? And up here I have an edge that does not do that. This edge starts here and ends over here. It doesn't go all the way to the end. So what I'm going to do at the moment is take this edge at the end and that edge at the end. I'm going to go to the connect tool. I'm going to go to the options. Make sure you connect it just one time and have 0 and 0 for the pinch and slide. I'm going to hit OK. So that basically is going to make a split right down the middle right there, which is it's a good thing. Next thing I'm going to do is select this edge, this one, and this one at the top. And I'm going to go back to the connect options, and I'm going to connect this 3 times. The reason I'm doing it 3 times is because I have 3 lights, 3 placeholders. So one edge segment right there for each one of those light placeholders. I'll hit OK. Now I end up with a problem. The problem is that these edges here on the ends, on the right and the left, they basically go up and then they slant in. The reason that's happening is because of the top edge up here is causing that. So to fix that very quickly, I'll go to Vertex Mode. I'm going to open up the Transform Typing tool. Remember, that's F12. And basically I'm just going to start copying the Y transforms here and pasting them for these guys. So I'll copy this one, paste it to that one. Okay, hit enter and close that. We're good. So basically each one of these edge segments is aligned perfectly with the geometry. You can see that my little circles are not aligned perfectly. That's because I eyeballed the little circles and placed them using judgment as opposed to precision. However, when you go ahead and split this into these segments using this technique, what you're going to end up with perfect precision, because this edge here is exactly in the middle of this window cavity, and this edge over here is actually in the middle of this piece of geometry, this little column piece of geometry right there. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is, or you're probably thinking to yourself, well, how in the world are you going to make holes out of this? Well, let me show you. I'm going to take these vertices, all 3 of these vertices that I just created, okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the chamfer options, and when we chamfer that, we end up with these little diamond shapes. Now I know that my light placeholders are about 3 inches in the radius, so I'm going to go for chamfer amount of 3 inches and hit OK. So we end up with these little diamond shapes. Alright, I'm going to select each one of these diamond shapes, and obviously they're not circles, but you're going to see how we could turn them into circles in a moment. I'm going to take all of these diamond shapes here, and what I'm going to do is pretty simple. I'm going to go up to subdivision here in the graphite modeling tools, and I'm going to go to tessellate. I'm going to go to the options, so I'll go to the tessellation settings there. Alright, Now it's a little bit hard to see. If I hit F2 on a keyboard, I'm still in polygon mode, but all I see is the outline of the edges as opposed to seeing the solid fill. This is solid polygon selection mode, and this is just seeing the outline. Same thing, the only thing is that the display changes. In this case, we can see the actual polygon here was split up into 4 separate polygons because we tessellated one time. If I hit apply once, I'll apply the tessellation a second time, which will break up the polygons into more. So I have more vertices, more geometry to work with, which is good. I'm going to hit OK. Alright. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take all those polygons that I created with them selected. I'm going to hit delete to get rid of them. Now I end up with a bunch of vertices there. Now it's still in the shape of a square, a little diamond here. Okay. But with all these vertices, I have more than enough geometry to create myself a pretty nice circle. So how in the world am I going to create a circle? Am I going to take each of these vertices and start moving them around like this and trying to shape out a circle? Of course not. That would be pretty silly and impractical. What I'm going to do is use a little technique here to get this done quick and easy. I'm going to select all of these vertices. Then I'm going to go over here to the modifiers list. I'm going to go to Parametric Deformers. And I'm going to go to a modifier called Spherify. Okay? When I hit that, what it basically does is take all those vertices and it makes a perfect circle out of them, as you can see. It makes them nice and round. It looks just like our circle placeholder. Okay? Now we can't select any vertices at this point or anything because we have a Spherify modifier on top. So we have to go to the modifier stack here and go to Collapse All. So we collapse that and you can see what we end up with. Now what we could do is simply go ahead and do this for the rest of these. So I could select these guys over here and do the same procedure, then select these guys. I can't do it at the same time. If I try to select all these vertices here and try to do it at the same time to save myself some time and go faster, watch what happens. I end up messing it up because it's applying the Spherify modifier to all the vertices together, which is not good. So I'll hit undo. I'm going to show you a little bit later a technique there for doing that faster. Okay. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the geometry that I need for the rest of these things. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to Edge Mode. I'm going to select these 2 edges at the end there. I'm going to connect those one time. Hit apply. I'm going to select these 3 edges right there. I'm going to connect those 3 times because I need 3 right there for the lights. Okay. I'm also going to, let me see. I'm going to hit OK right there. I'm going to select those 2 edges. I'm going to connect those one time. And I'll hit apply. I'm going to select these 3 here. And I'll connect that 3 times, or actually I'll just connect that twice. And I'll hit OK. Now these edges obviously are slanted, so I need to fix that. And the way to fix that very quickly and easily is using the Align tool. So I'll select those 2 edges there. I'll go to Align, and I'm going to align these in the X. Take those 2 guys, align those also in the X. And there we go. I've got the geometry set up for that. For those lights right there. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is go to maybe this edge and that edge right there. I'm going to go to, actually, we're going to need to connect all this stuff together. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select that edge right there and I'm going to select the ring. Yeah, that was the right one. I'm going to select the ring right there. Okay. And what I'll do is I'm just going to go ahead and hit connect on that. Do it once. Hit OK. Didn't do the whole connection all the way through. I should have made a connection in one single shot, but that's okay. I'll just go to the cut tool and I'll make my cut from there to there. And on the other side, I'll make my cut from there to there down there. Okay, there we go. Alright, so I'm going to take these edges right there. I'm going to connect those guys 3 times, actually 2 times I should say. Hit apply. I'm going to take over here, I'm going to take this guy, and this guy. Hit apply. I'm going to come to the opposite side and select this guy, and this guy, and hit OK. Now I know that I need to align these guys to get them straight. So what I'll do is I'll select this guy here, and I'll select these guys right there. And I know that I have to go ahead and align these guys in the y-axis. So I'll go to align y. There we go. Select those edges. Select these edges. Hit align y. There we go. I'll select these edges here. And these all have to align in the x. So there we go. X. Select those guys. Align them in the x. And there we go. Perfect. Okay, so we're good there, and we can start to build those lights pretty soon. Now we do have geometry here, so I'm going to go select these two edges, connect those one time, hit apply. I'm going to select those three, connect them 3 times, and hit OK. And those are good to go. Okay, so basically all that geometry is set right there. All I need to do is take the vertices that we have there. I'm going to take all of them and do this all in one shot so we can go by a lot faster. So select all these vertices that we're going to chamfer. Okay, so I'll select that guy right there. I believe I have them all selected. Yep, looks like I do. Oh, actually I was missing one right there. So just scan it really quick, make sure you have all the vertices selected. If you miss one, it's okay, you can always go back and do it again. I'm going to go to chamfer options. You can see it put the chamfer at 1 inch, which is no good. So I'm going to tell Max to do it at 3 inches, and I'll hit OK. Alright, there we go. Next thing I'm going to do is go to polygon mode. I'm going to select all these diamond polygons. Right there. Select all of those diamond polygons. Make sure you have them all selected, and make sure you have the correct polygons selected. Now what we're going to do is the same thing as before. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take these guys. We're going to go to subdivision, open up the tessellate options, hit apply once. Should have created this amount of tessellation. Hit OK. And those polygons should still be selected, and I'll hit delete. If we go to Vertex Mode, you can see we have ourselves a lot of different vertices there. Okay, so now we know that we have to use the little spherify modifier technique on all of these little light fixture openings. Okay, and there's a lot of them. If you remember, the process was a bit of a process there. We had to basically select ourselves some vertices. And we can only do it one at a time, so we have to go one light fixture at a time. So we have to do this light fixture, select all the vertices, go to modifiers, go to parametric deformers, apply spherify modifier, then we have to collapse the modifier stack, go back to vertex mode, turn on ignore back facing, and do the same process for the next one. Now if we do that for all of these light fixture geometry areas, it's going to take a long time. And we haven't even created the light geometry for all the light fixtures of the rest of the house. So this could be a job that takes us all day to do. So what's a faster way of doing this and getting this done quick and a lot easier than doing this thing manually the way that we saw? Well, we can use scripting for that. Now this isn't a scripting tutorial, so we're not going to get into scripting. Scripting, we can spend hours, days, weeks just going over scripting. But I'm going to show you a quick and easy way of using scripting in 3ds Max to your advantage when you run into a situation like this. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the Maxscript main menu item up here. Okay, and we're going to go open up the macro recorder. Alright, editor, edit that video. Start again in 3, 2, 1. We're going to go up here to the Maxscript main menu item, and what we're going to do is open up the Maxscript listener. Shortcut is F11 on the keyboard. Alright. Editor, edit that out of the video. We're going to start again in 3, 2, 1. We're going to go up to the Maxscript main menu. Editor, start again in 3, 2, 1. We're going to go up to the Maxscript main menu item up here, and you can see we have a Maxscript listener. The shortcut is the F11 key on the keyboard. And when we open that up, we get ourselves the Maxscript listener window. And we have two areas. We have this pink area on the top and the white area in the bottom. the white area in the bottom is for you to write scripts and things and execute them. The top area up here you can use to actually see scripting in the background. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay. Wouldn't it be awesome if we could take all the steps that we did for creating one of these circular holes here in the geometry, record the script for that process, okay, and take that script and just execute it over and over again to create ourselves our circular holes here, quick and easy? Well, we can. If we go here to the macro recorder and hit enable, what ends up happening is it looks like nothing happened, but watch, if I select the house geometry, what it does, it echoes, or it repeats, it records whatever I do in 3ds Max, and it shows me the scripting for it here. So if we can actually record the process for creating one of these circular holes, we'll be able to see the actual code for it. We can then take the code and we can use that code, and with a single button hit we can actually do the whole process of that code in a single button hit and do things a lot easier. So instead of talking about it, let me actually show you how this works. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Run out of screen space here, so I'm going to kind of make this a little bit smaller there. We're going to start off with this area over here. Alright, I'm going to go to Vertex Selection mode. I'm going to select those vertices right there. Okay, now with these vertices right there selected, I'm going to start to do the process. You notice it's echoing out, recording, it's repeating everything that I do here in script form. What I'm going to do is hit Control and D on the keyboard to basically clear out all that stuff right there. And what I want to do is I want to record only what I want, and what I want to record is what I'm about to do right now. So with all of these vertices selected here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the modifiers list here, and I'm going to apply the Spherify modifier again, and you can see it recorded that. Then I'm going to go ahead and collapse my modifier stack. Oh shit. Okay, why the heck is it doing that? Man, it just, I don't know, it went crazy on me. Pause the video. Editor, there was some kind of weird freaking bug here with 3ds Max. We're going to pick up and start again here in 3, 2, 1. So what we're going to do is, let's go to, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to Vertex Mode. You can see it recorded that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Control D to clear that out. I'm going to select all of these vertices right here, okay? And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go, start again in 3, 2, 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Vertex Mode over here, and you can see it recorded that command. I'm going to select all of these vertices. Okay. Now I'm going to clear that stuff out by hitting Control D, and with these vertices selected, I'm going to go to Modifiers, Parametric Deformers, and apply Spherify Modifier. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to collapse that modifier stack right there. I'm going to go back to Vertex Mode by hitting 1 on the keyboard. Okay. I'm going to hit Control D to deselect everything. And now I'm going to turn on Ignore Backfacing right there. So it's basically a six line script, or 6 different commands and a script here. All right. It applies the modifier called Spherify. It collapses the modifier stack. In the 3rd line, we go back to Vertex Mode. In the 4th line, we deselect all vertices. Okay. And then down here we have the Ignore Backfacing, which it turns Ignore Backfacing back on. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Maxscript again, and I'm going to open up the Maxscript editor. When I do that, I get myself this little window right here. And I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to copy all the code except the last code. The last code was when we opened up the Maxscript editor. So copy everything all the way down to Ignore Backfacing on. Hit Control C to copy. Come over here to the Maxscript window. Hit Control V to paste. So there's our script. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the macro recorder and disable it. So I'm going to uncheck enable so it no longer macro records things. And I'm going to close this, don't need it for the moment. So let me show you how cool this is. Let me go ahead and just scale this little window down there so that we can see a little bit better. Alright, so we've got these three holes completely done. So let's go over here to one of these that we don't have, like this one right here. I'm going to select those vertices there. Then I'm going to go into this window, okay, and I'm going to hit Control and E to execute the code. And if I did everything correct, the entire hole should turn into a circular shape, and I should be back at vertex mode with ignore back facing on, and I am. Perfect. So all I have to do is go to all of these and just hit Control E in this window here, and I can very quickly and very easily save myself so much time by coming in here and just hitting Control E, Control E, Control E. So I just select what I need to and just hit Control E and do this over and over again. Okay, I'm gonna speed up the video, and I'm gonna do it for the rest of these, and I'm just gonna fast forward the video to go faster here. Alright, so I did all of those really quickly. You'll also notice that I need to clean some stuff up, so I'm going to take this little script window here and I'm going to close it for the moment. And if I come to some of these holes, I can see that we have a problem here. See that? That's a triangulation error. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select all the polygons, go to triangulation, hit retriangulate. I'm going to zoom in there, and yes, the problem was fixed, as you can see. Okay, so I have the holes there perfectly. I didn't need pro Booleans. I was able to do it pretty quick and easy, and very painlessly. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the video here, and in the next video, we'll finish off the geometry to create the holes for the light fixtures on the rest of the house.